So you've just done a show at the Eagle Inn. How do you think it went?
Splendid was the word.
Yeah, splendid. It went really, really well. Yeah, it was a very small stage, but I think we did a very good job. Had a very tight set. So.
A couple of whacks of the old headstock on
touching
my
tips.
hips and
not the same
bumped
now,
into you once or twice.
Yeah.
It's part of the journey, isn't it?
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of space to move around, which I think was a bit interesting to get used to. But it was alright, it was good. It was into a little room, the crowd were engaging, so that was good. I think we played pretty good.
Yeah. When you've got a King V and you're trying to coordinate the pedals,
it's almost impossible.
We did it. Yeah. You wanted
So you've got your new single coming out soon, called Inside the Void. Have you got any inspirations or anything that kind of made you want to write it? Or
do you want to go first, Brett? Yeah.
I'll go first. So obviously I wrote the lyrics and melodies. The lyrics, I draw inspirations from some nerdy stuff. So this one was some World of Warcraft lore, sort of around the old gods, corruption, that kind of thing. Melodically, I just kind of tried to fit it around Josh's guitar, I guess. There was already a chorus written, verses already written as far as the instrumental. So I just tried to fit it around that and pick notes that I could sing.
Yeah. Yeah, guitar-wise, kind of what we had was that it's kind of like 3 or 4 chords, I think, at the start, so really simple. And then we do a melody over the top. It's a really simple song, really. It's probably one of our more melodic songs. We've got Shadows and then Inside the Void, so I think it caters to Brett's vocals as well. There's a lot of space for vocal melodies, and I know Sean added a blues riff over the top. Do you want to talk about that? Yeah.
I was old school blues guitarist joined metal band. It's a story as old as time, but it's the chorus at the start really, like quite bluesy chords.
Yeah.
So I thought, what better to go over it than the guitar solo. It was difficult matching it because towards the end, I kind of have to match your vocal melody with the solo.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Which is a little tricky. It took us a few runs to get that right.
Yeah.
With the drums, I wanted to utilise the space as much as possible, whilst also, capturing emotion, but not filling it too much. Because a lot of times with drums, the space can, the empty space can speak volumes. So, and that's where a lot of the emotion comes into it, and guitars do a lot of the work on that bit. So yeah, that was the idea of the drumming behind it.
Big Tom slam.
Oh yeah.
I feel very much like that.
Thank you for that.
We're going to talk about the 3 minutes.
Oh yeah. So originally the track was around 2.5 minutes, give or take, and I have a real big issue with songs not being over 3 minutes. So we incorporated like a very sort of slow bridge section to sort of slow everything down, cut everything out, and then sort of build up into the final chorus again.
It ended there before, didn't it?
It
And
did,
then we built up to that last chorus.
Yeah, so just
I think it was the new riff as well. Was it one that you used to play but was never in anything?
It was basically, so where the interlude used to be, the really dun 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 dun, and it's like pulsing. I actually played it on acoustic and like broke up the chords. And then we kind of entered that into the song, so it added this like really spacey, atmospheric, really melodic kind of riff into the song. And compared to a lot of our songs, it's probably one of the more simple ones. I speak for myself, Sean does the kind of technicality on that song, but it's compared to a lot of our other songs, it's a lot more simple. But it's more about emotion and feeling and spaciousness and stuff like that. So yeah.
So have you got anyone who kind of inspired you to do what you do today? Anyone or anything that got you into?
For me, it's very straightforward. Slipknot. That's where it all started for me. Looked up to Joey Jordison, and then as I started progressing into heavier music, it was more Aaron Kitcher from Infinite Annihilator. That's sort of who I'd like to be someday, but it's part of the journey, isn't it?
I'll go next. The harsh side of vocals. I remember it specifically. I was on MySpace, I'm old, and I heard this song "Pray for Plagues" by Bring Me the Horizon. It just says these dirty low noises, these really high screech. I thought, oh my word, I want to be able to do that. And I remember I pretty much just started it and just trying. I probably sounded really bad. I thought it was sick though. That started me wanting to do the harsh vocals, and then later on, I started to really obsess over a Japanese band called Deer and Grey. A bit more progressive, a bit more interesting. But their vocalist Kyo, he does some insane stuff. He's so versatile, massive range, whether it's cleans, harsh sounds, anything. I'd say he's probably my biggest inspiration, but I'd be lying if I didn't say Ollie Sykes sort of started off the upset. It's a shame he was doing it wrong. It wasn't the greatest start, was it?
No,
But yeah, those two for sure.
Cool.
got it.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah, mine's a bit of a mixed bag. I'd probably say it's kind of trippy because we've just seen Slipknot do the 25th anniversary and also Trivium and Bullet for Valentine do the 20th anniversary. And literally this past week, it's like, oh my god!
Here it is. Here it is.
Yeah, literally, and it was just so amazing. It was such a throwback. In the early days, I was actually a huge fan of like Darren Malakian. That riff in BYOB, just it's so catchy and so heavy. I think the first like kind of metal band I ever heard was probably Slipknot, but it was so jarring. I never heard music like that, and then I was like, holy moly, like, you know. So probably say Darren Malakian, Slipknot. The first kind of metal album I ever bought was probably Ascendancy. So and just the guitar work on that is just the layers and everything. It's just metal. So yeah, probably say that.
But little insight to me, I used to listen to Avenged Sevenfold's self-titled album because I originally started out on guitar, and Sinister Gates was like legit my guitar hero at the time. I was like, yo, this guy's insane, and like I've never heard anything so heavy and so sort of, because that album to me was like the heaviest thing known to man at like age 7. So I was like, yeah, this is the journey I want to go on. And then eventually, push come to shove, ended up joining on bass in several bands, and here we are. Now it's the chosen weapon of choice.
Funny on Avenge actually, TMI anyway. So my first album was Sounding of the Seventh Trumpet, Avenge's first album,
the
which
original
is
one.
super heavy. Listening back to it now, it was like the gateway for metalcore for me.
Yeah.
I was like 7, Dad thrust a guitar at me because he was a guitarist, and he was like, right, you're playing guitar, no, you don't get a choice. So I had guitar lessons, and then went to school, never touched it, and then Ant came along. And then I was like, oh, hang on, guitar's actually a communal project. Other people can play with you. And then he had a go at me for listening to old music, because I was listening to Zeppelin, Clapton, all that kind of stuff. And he gave me Atreyu's first album and 36's first album. And then I went out to buy Sound the Seventh Trumpet, and then I was a convert. Went metal.
Humble beginnings.
I was probably going to say another one of mine was probably Wes Borland as well, like the whole like persona and his setup and like really simple heavy riffs, but like amazing like melodies as well. Like he's quite respected, I think, in the guitar community. But yeah, he's another one.
So, final question: where did you get the name Between Polarities from?
It was a lot of trial and error with different names. It was honestly a very, very stressful process. I think we like the idea of using the word polarities. We were previously called No Gods No Masters. We thought it was a bit of a kind of, in some respect, not quite as inclusive as it could have been. So we wanted something that can kind of be quite thought-provoking and not kind of, it questions what you think it means. It's not quite so straightforward. And it was more inclusive, and it had something like kind of powerful behind it. We had like literally an Excel spreadsheet of all these different variations. In the level of arguments we got over, no, it shouldn't be this, it should be this, like changing letters. We kind of tried and there were so many different ones, and that was kind of, I think I'd actually seen a scientific study that said generating power between polarities, and I was like, oh yeah, that's quite interesting. It's kind of the simple word in between and then the more complex word of polarities. And kind of for me, I don't think I've ever said this, the kind of meaning behind it, what I find, is kind of like, it's this kind of, it's like beginning, end, birth, rebirth, this idea of polarities. I kind of think like with life, it's like you have the start and the end, and all these gradients in between, and that's kind of between polarities. So, I'll probably say that.
And not only that, we did have a couple of other names that we were like, oh yeah, this is really sick. Only to discover they were already taken, and we're like,
that's why we weren't polarities though, wasn't it? I mean, No Gods No Masters, there was other bands with that.
Oh,
yeah,
geez,
clothing shop. There was a bike shop
really?
called that.
Yeah.
Machine Head wrote a song out called No Gods No
Arch
Masters.
Enemy did as well. You search it and you search for music, you get a Machine Head and Arch Enemy.
And there's that Dutch band as well.
That was a nightmare.
Yeah.
We had a spreadsheet and then we had a veto list.
It got mental. We were like doing tallies and votes and everything.
We're falling out daily over this.
It was very
Did it
stressful.
take like 2 months, 3 months?
Something like that.
It felt like a lifetime.
It was a bit of a kind of rebranding of the band as well, because we had got like a new lineup and we had this name and we didn't really feel like we were very passionate about it. Like it didn't really mean very much.
Felt very punk, didn't it?
Yeah, and it was just something that we all wanted to kind of. We pretty much redid everything. Like all the songs were different, the tunings were different, the logo, everything. So it was quite fitting to kind of change the name as well. But yeah, it took a long time to get to that name, but we are really proud of it now. And I think even before with like No Gods No Masters, we put the UK on the end to kind of safeguard it a little bit because there was another band that was
No
like,
Gods No Masters UK.
But that band
That's
has
a great
like
Spotify handle.
1,000 other albums, so we had like no chance of keeping it, so we changed it. Yeah.
Cool.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This next song is Void. This next song's called Inside the Void. This will be coming out soon actually. This is more of a sing-song one, this, so we get to chill out a little bit.